Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you could play it through an old song by Benny King called Stand By Me. And we're going to end up capoing this on 2nd fret, but the coolest part of the song actually is that bass lick. And if you wanted to, you could kind of take those ideas and kind of steal them for the guitar. So you could kind of start off on the open D string, and then go 4th fret on the D string, and then 5th fret on the D string, and then another 5th fret on the G string, or D string. So you're going 0, 4, 5, 5, all on the D string. And then we do that lick again. And then from there, then we play 5th on the D string, 4 on the D, 2nd fret on the D string twice. So you got 5, 4, 2, 2 on the D string. And then we play open D, and then we play 2nd fret on the D string twice. And then we got another cool little lick where you play 2nd on the D, open D, 3rd on the A string twice. And then we play 3rd on the A string, 2nd on the D string, open on the D string twice, and then we go back to kind of that very first lick that we had where we had the 0, 4, 5 on the D string twice. And each of these licks actually is kind of around a chord. Actually, the first note that we're playing is actually on the downbeat anyway, is kind of the note of the chord. So our first lick is kind of a G major lick, kind of going D, F sharp, G, G, D, F sharp, G, G, and then our next lick is kind of leading into an E minor chord where we're going G, F sharp, E, E, and then the D is kind of an E minor lick too. And then when we got the E, D, C, C is kind of a C chord lick, and then the C, E, D, D is kind of a D chord lick, and then the D, F sharp, G lick is kind of another G chord lick. So another way to kind of work the tune, actually, you could use that as to kind of intro the tune, and then people go, oh my gosh, it's Stand By Me, I love this song. And then from there you could even kind of go into just chording it. And you start on a G major chord, and we play G major. First finger is going to go to the A string on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the low E string on the 3rd fret, and the 3rd finger on the high E string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from the G major, we're going to go into an E minor chord, and we play E minor. First finger is going to stay on the A string 2nd fret. 2nd finger is going to go to the D string on the 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an E minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. And then from the E minor chord, we're going to go to a C major chord, and we play C major. First finger is going to go to the B string on the 1st fret. 2nd finger on the D string on the 2nd fret. 3rd finger on the A string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum just the A string to the high E string, that'll get you your clear sound. And that's called C major, and it sounds really happy. And then from the C major, we're going to be going to a D major chord, and we play D major. First finger goes to the G on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the high E string on the 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum just the D, G, B, and E, kind of the skinny 4 strings, that sounds a D major, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from the D at the very end of our verse and our chorus, we go back to G major, and then we do another G major. And that's basically our chord form through the entire song, is kind of that G, da-da, G, da-da, E minor, da, E minor, da-da, C, da-da, D, da-da, G, da-da, G. Now for myself though, a lot of times to kind of support my voice, I like using some things called strum patterns through songs like this. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we did the G and just tried that a lot. You have down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So then if we tried that through our chord form, we have G with a down, down, up, down, up, G down, down, up, down, E minor, down, down, up, down, E minor, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, up. Now there are some other voicings for these chords too you may want to play around with, actually, and some of these I call drone voicings because there's a couple notes that you just kind of carry through each chord. So another way you play G major, you can do first finger on the A second, 2nd finger on the low E string 3rd, and take the 3rd finger and go to the B string on the 3rd fret, and then take the pinky and put them on the high E string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that's another way you can play G major. Another way you could play E minor, actually, is something called E minor 7, actually. It's just one finger you'd have to move from the G. where you leave the first finger on the A string second, the second finger goes to the D string on the second fret, and then you leave the third finger on the B string third, pinky on the high string third. That's called E minor 7, so if you're kind of digging on that, you could use that for your E minor. And then from the E minor 7, you could use a C major 9, where you play C major 9. First finger goes to the D string on the second fret, second finger goes to the A string on the third fret, but you keep the third finger on the B string third and the pinky on the high string third. And if you strum the A string or the high string with that, that's called C major 9. And then randomly on the D major, actually, you may want to play around with some other D chords where from the D major, if you lift off the second finger, which is always a dangerous finger to lift, that's something called D sus 2. And then randomly from the D major, if you took your pinky and kind of added them in on the high E third, that's something called a D sus. So while you're on D chords, actually in general, you may want to kind of play around with kind of switching between those chords. You can almost kind of say something on the D chord while you're on it. Kind of using the D and the D sus and the D sus 2. So if we tried that with our strum pattern using those voicings, we have to with down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, E minor, down, down, up, down, E minor, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, G, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down. Thing that I like to add to a song like this too is bass notes, and a lot of times on the first down of the down, down, up, down, you can throw in a bass for the chord. So on the G, you could do the low E string for your bass, and then do your down, up, down. So it almost simulates playing with a bass note. Bass, down, up, down, G with low E bass, down, up, down. On your E minor chord, you'd have the low E string for your bass, E minor with low E bass, down, up, down. On the C chord, you'd have the A string for your bass, and then on the D chord, you'd have the D string for the bass. So we could kind of take that and kind of apply it to that whole chord progression. So if we tried it with our bass down, up, down, we'd have G with the bass, down, up, down, G with low E bass, down, up, down, E minor with low E bass, down, up, down, E minor with low E bass, down, up, down, C with an A bass, down, up, down, D with the D bass, down, up, down, G with low E bass, down, up, down, G with low E bass, down, up, down. And we're basically going to be repeating that. Now there's this really cool little string solo like after the verse chorus happens twice, and if you want to kind of add in some of those licks, you'd start on the high E string on the third fret, and then we play third again, and then fifth fret on the high E, 7 on the high E, fifth on the high E, third on the high E, and third again, and then second fret on the high E, and then open E, and then second fret on the high E twice, and then we go third fret on the high E, open E, first fret on the B, open G, first fret on the B, second fret on the G, and then fourth fret on the D, open G, second fret on the G, and another second fret on the G, and then open B twice, and then we go open D, and then open G, second fret on the G, open B, and then third fret on the B string, and then we kind of pick it back up on that third fret on the high E string again. So all together you're going G, G, A, B, A, G, G, F sharp, E, F sharp, G, E, C, G, C, A, F sharp, G, A, B, B, D, G, A, B, D. It's kind of behind that. And if you're a little bit more adventurous, you could almost kind of throw in some bass notes, kind of a G note for the G chord. So you could do third on the low E string with the third on the high string at the same time. And then kind of, what I'm doing is doing this hybrid picking. So I'm using my pick for my basses and using my fingers to kind of play the melody notes on the top. So you can almost kind of throw the bass notes in to kind of imply the chords through that part. And especially if you're playing solo, that could be a really cool thing to kind of try. So that way you can almost kind of carry the solo by yourself without having to hire a rhythm guitar player. But so you may want to kind of experiment with that. I just think that's kind of a cool way to kind of try that when you get into that solo part. 3-0-1, 3 and open, 1, 2 and open, 4-0-2, 3 and 2, or 3 and 2, 0-0. So you want to kind of experiment with that too. Now the weird part is to play along with Benny King, instead of starting on a G major chord, he's actually starting on an A major chord. So what you want to do to play along with the recording is take a capo, and if you put the capo on 2nd fret, then now your G major is really an A major chord, your E minor is really an F sharp minor, your C major is really a D major chord, and your D major is really an E major chord. But to take it from the very, very beginning, that way you can still kind of kick it off with kind of that intro lick that we were talking about with all those D notes, right? And it's kind of weird because you are shifting it for the capo, so you're actually adding 2 frets to all the ones that we're doing as far as real frets go. But you could actually think those same lead licks that we were starting out with. Or you could just strum through that. So we could have G with the down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, E minor, down, down, up, down, E minor, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, G, 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 down, down, up, down, E minor, down, down, up, down, E minor, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down. Or you can try that with bass notes and have G with the bass, down, up, down, G with the bass, down, up, down, E minor, low E bass, down, up, down, E minor, low E bass, down, up, down, C with an A bass, down, up, down, D with the D bass, down, up, down, G with low E 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 bass, down, up, down, E minor, low E bass, down, up, down, E minor, low E bass, down, up, down, C with an A bass, down, up, down, D with the D bass, down, up, down, G with low E bass, down, up, down, G with low E bass, down. And then we'd have our solo part. Let's see. So you may want to kind of follow that melody, or you could even kind of try that as kind of a 2-part. Tune open, 4, 0, 2, 2, 3, 0, 0, 3, 0, 0, 2, 0, 3, 3, 5, 3, and 7, 5, 3, 3, 2, opens together, 2, tune open, 3, 0, 1, 3, and open, 1, tune open, 4, 0, 2, 3, 2, 0, 0. So you may want to kind of experiment with that too. Kind of experiment with some of those other things too. But that's the basics of how you can strum through Stand By Me by Benny King. So good luck!